Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Tech. So today we're going to learn how to create EC2 instance in AWS account. Okay, so in order to do that, I would need to log in into the AWS console. To do that, let me open up my browser. I'll open a Safari browser, and then you can navigate to aws.amazon.com. This is the URL, and there at the top right corner, you see sign into the console. So just click on it. And here you can provide your credential if you have already set up the IAM user on your AWS account. You can use your IAM user credential. In case you haven't set it yet, you can either set one, or you can use your root account, which is your email address and the password for your AWS login. So in my case, I have already set up my IAM user, so I'll be using the IAM users account to log in into AWS console. So all right, so here it is. Hit sign in, and it will take you to the AWS home page, AWS console home page. Okay, now, to create an EC2 instance, you can either do a search in the search field like EC2, and it should give you an option with the EC2 service. But the other way around is you can go to this service option. There are different service type. So the EC2 comes under compute service. If you click on compute, you can see EC2 and other services that falls under compute category, right? So EC2 is one of the compute services which is popularly used in AWS. So we will be using the EC2 service here, and then we'll click on it. The moment I click, it will take me to the EC2 dashboard, where you will see uh, the the EC2 dashboard, and you will get to see an instance status. If there are any instance running, you would see the number of instance running over here. If there are any auto scaling groups being set up in this particular region, you would see this over here. Similarly, elastic IP key pairs, or the instance number, right? So currently we don't have the EC2 instance running in this account, so we see 0 number, right? So to create one, you can simply click on launch instance, and then you would have to provide the name for your EC2 server. So in this case, I'm going to provide my first EC2, or my first instance, right? So my first instance is the name that I'm giving to my EC2 instance that I'm going to launch. And from here, you can select the OS, the operating system for your EC2 instance. It can be Linux, Ubuntu, Mac OS, Windows, Red Hat, SUSE. So there are many. So I would choose Linux for this demo, Linux operating system. And from here, you can see the moment I select Linux, it provides me the AMI, the image for the Linux. If I choose Mac OS, it would give me the operating system for Mac OS operating system, and there are varieties of AMIs that I can use. Similarly, if you go for Windows, you would have an option for the Windows operating system. There are multiple AMIs. AMIs is the image that is going to be used in order to launch your instance with the particular operating system, right? So in our case, we're using Linux machine, and I'm going to select AMI for this machine would be Linux 2 AMI, and this is a free tier eligible, so hence I'm using this, because with this AMI I will not be charged a single penny for doing this demo, right? And here you can see the description. The architecture that I'm using is 64-bit 86 for this AMI. And here comes the instance type. So the instance type you can select from the list, but for a demo purpose, I'm using a free tier eligible. So like I said, if I'm using a free tier, there will be no cost for doing this lab, like running instances on my account. But if you go with other options, like where it has no free tier eligible mention, that means you will be charged for this particular service or for the EC2 instance that is going to be launched on your account, right? So better to stick on the free tier eligible for this practice demo video. And in the key pair section, this is the password that you would need to set. Basically, you would log into your Windows machine with your user ID and the password. Similarly, in Linux, we would need the key pair, right? So we need to create one. So let me create a new key pair, or I have already one, I can use that one, right? Let me use that one instead. Okay, so my first key, need to make sure that you have this key available with you. In case if you don't have, then you need to create one. Otherwise, you will not be able to log into your Linux machine after it is created. Okay, so for network settings, I'm leaving it as default for now. Everything will remain as it is. So we're not going to make any changes in this section. And for SSH traffic, this is for the security groups. So create security group, which will create a security group with the name launch widget 1 with the following rules, which is allow SSH traffic from anywhere. So this means we are allowing SSH traffic to this machine from anywhere by enabling port 22. So SSH traffic works on a port 22. So we are allowing them this particular port on this security groups to allow any connection from anywhere over the internet, right? Okay. Now configure storage. So in this part, we will not make any changes here. Again, we'll go with default settings. 8 GB. This is going to be a root volume where the operating system will be installed. Okay, for your Linux machine. Now you can add a new volume or additional volume, but that is a separate thing again. So we are just using the default settings over here just to create an EC2 instance. And again, you have more settings in advanced details, but we're not going to use this advanced details option as of now. We'll just go with the default settings, and to the right hand side you could see number of instances. So how many number of instances you want to create, right? If you want to create, you can say give as number 2 instead of 1, or you can go for 3, 4, 5. So depending on your requirements. So in this case, I'm going to select with 1, and you can just review whatever the selection you have made so far. I have selected Amazon Linux 2 with virtual server type, which is instant type T2 micro, which is free tier. Security group will be created, and there's a new security group. Volume is 8 GB storage. So everything looks good. Let me click on launch instance now. So now our instance is being launched, and I think it's already uh, launched. Let me go to the instance page. Here it is, my first instance. You can see the instance ID. The instance state is pending at the moment, but it should be in running status in few moments. Okay, so let's just wait for this. Okay, there it is. It is showing a running status now. And the instance type that we selected was T2 micro, which is the correct one, and the status check, which is showing as initializing at this moment. So this will take a few moments because it is doing some checks in the background for your system, right? So other things you can find like public IPv4 DNS, public IP address already been assigned. This is created in AP South 1B availability zone. So you are in Mumbai. So Mumbai has several availability zones. So this is one of them where this EC2 instance has been launched. And you can see the security group that we created with the name launch widget. Then the key name which we have given as my first key, the one I already have got in my system. And this is a platform in Linux, right? You can see all the details here. And again, if you click on this instance, you would see the same details in a different tab option, right? So in details, you would see the instance ID, IPv4, key pair, right? You can see key pair, and if you go to status and alarm, this is where you would see the status checks for your systems and this instance status checks, right, which is currently being initializing. So it will take a minute or two. Sometime it depends on your network, right? So in my case, it is taking a bit time. Yeah. And the other thing, monitoring tab, it will give you an uh, monitoring window where you can monitor your EC2 instance like CPU utilization, network in and out bytes, right? Network packets that are being flowing, right? So these are the option and many more. You can configure CloudWatch for detail monitoring, right, for your instance. And also in security tab, you would see the security groups that are being assigned, which is the launch widget one, where we have enabled port 22, if you remember, that is to allow SSH connection to your EC2 instance. So if I open launch widget, you would see the inbound rules, SSH type, which the protocol is TCP and the port is 22, and the source that are allowed from anywhere, right? So anywhere over the internet, you can connect or you can make SSH connection to this server, uh, provided you have the IP address for this instance and the key pair, right? Okay, now go back to the EC2 instance page, refresh the page, and I can see that the status check for system and the instance status check has passed now, which is showing 2 of 2 check passed. So now we are ready to connect. Like we are, the systems is ready for the SSH connection. We can click on connect, and you have this option SSH client or EC2 instance connect. So these are the two options where in SSH client you would require to provide the key pair and connect to the server. EC2 instance connect, with this option you can connect to your instance. It will create a virtual environment uh, right from the AWS itself. You don't need to use any other CLI tools. It will create a virtual environment on your AWS account itself, and the instance session will be established, right? The SSH session. But in our case, we will use the SSH client to connect to our EC2 instance. Let me just do that. I'll open my terminal. Uh, Let me do that. Okay. So here it is. I have opened my terminal. Now I need to make sure that I have this key pair which I have allocated to this EC2 instance. In your case, you might have downloaded the key pair at the time when the EC2 was creating, right? So you would need to make sure that you cd into that directory where you have the key pair. So in my case, I have this key pair in download folder. So I'll go to cd down lo uh, downloads. All right. So I'm download directory. Now, I already have the first key, right? You can see my first key is over here. So I'll just use that, which is this command, to give a permission to read this key pair from my terminal, right? So I'll use this one. All right. Now I can use the whole command to connect to EC2 instance. Let me paste this out and hit enter. It will prompt me whether I want to continue or not. You can simply type in yes. It will then connect your session with the EC2 server. There you go. Voila. As you can see, thus we are now connected to EC2 machine that we created, which is Amazon Linux 2. And the information we are seeing here is because the newer version of Amazon Linux is available, which is Amazon Linux 2 to 2023, which is the one that we did not pick. So, so this is how we can connect. We can create a EC2 instance and connect to the EC2 server. So that's pretty much about this video. I hope you find this video as informative for your learning, and please stay tuned for further videos. I'll be coming up more videos same like this on the AWS various services. Thank you so much. Until then, bye bye.